So I wanted to welcome in Kevin Minnick of NJ Advanced Media, get his take on the first week of the high school baseball season. Good morning, Kev.
Hey, good morning, Sully.
Before we get started, got to get your take on the Bryce Harper bat flip. Yay or nay?
I'm all for it. You know
wow.
what? There used to be a time. There used to be a time when I was kind of like the old school baseball guy. And, you do this nonsense that goes against the code, and then you get beamed on the next pitch. All that stuff. But you know what? I think as times change and as new generations of kids come into the game, as long as you play the game on the field the right way and you hustle and you play hard and you do what you're supposed to do, you know what? If you hit the ball 465 feet, you that's no big deal. Celebrate it, enjoy it, knowing it's you're not doing it to spite the other team. You're doing it for yourself and for your teammates and your fans, and that's fine with me.
I want to know if the old school mentality has gone from Kevin and McGarry just because.
What's going on here?
Just because they both root / maybe cover the Phillies here. I want to know if that's the reason why. That was any other team.
Not at all, Nick. I mean, like I said, people are tough sometimes to adjust to change, and there are those people who are your old school baseball people who have followed it for years that'll tell you that Bryce Harper was out of control, and that if Rhys Hoskins gets hit by the next pitch, that's why. But you know what? People have said for the last few years that baseball takes too long to play. Baseball is this and it's that. Well, you know what? You've got to tweak things a little bit. And if there's a little bit more excitement to it, why not? Like I said, as long as that bat flip isn't in the direction of the pitcher, isn't in the direction of the other team, although the Harper flip was, it's, what? Enjoy the moment because you're doing it for your team and your teammates, and the other team should know that. Because you know what? If the other team gets an opportunity to do the same thing, they're going to do it too. So you know what? Hey, I just served up a 400-foot home run. All right, you know what? I'm going to take the good with the bad. Next time up, maybe I bear down and I don't deliver the pitch where he can hit it that far. So, I'm okay with it. Let him enjoy it. Let the fans enjoy it. Let it bring, a certain level of excitement to the game. That's fine. As long as you do not go over the line and start pointing fingers and things along those lines, what the hell? Let it go.
I had you pegged all wrong, Kevin. During the break, I was telling Nick, I was like, I'm going to get Kevin all fired up here with the bat flip. I figured you'd go on a 5-minute diatribe about how there's no place in the game for that kind of stuff. Had you pegged all wrong, man.
No, I mean, like I said, 10, 20 years ago, I think I would have been the other way around, but I've changed a little bit. I think that comes with having kids of your own, and I think it comes with watching a new generation of baseball. And if you watch, down here in South Jersey, we watch enough Mike Trout, and we've seen Mike Trout commercials now. Let the kids play. Let them play. When Mike Trout flips the bat, then we'll have something really to talk about.
What do you think of the new Mike Trout commercial where he's doing the '70s dance off with Andrew Luck?
That took me back a little bit. That was kind of. I was like, I don't know where that one came from, but you know what? When the dollar signs are in front of you, I guess you do have to do a few other things.
No doubt. So, Kev, what was your impression on the first week of the season? We talked with Mike about some of the Cape Atlantic League action, and I guess you were out at St. Augustine yesterday. Big win for the Prep, and as I mentioned to Mike, I think it was good for them to kind of really get tested early. When you come in with those kind of expectations, you guys had them number 2 in the state in your preseason poll. Sometimes you can get a little complacent early on, but I think they needed that early test to say, hey, what kind of team are we? How are we going to respond to adversity?
Yeah, I think, I think coming into last year when they had those 7, 8, 9 Division I arms and people were really talking about them, I remember talking to Mike Bilone and telling him, Mike, you're not going to go undefeated, and no matter how many arms you have. And he agreed with me completely. And that's the thing. Even the best teams in the state, the best teams in South Jersey are not going to go undefeated. There's going to be games where they're going to fall behind. They're going to lose games. What St. Augustine did yesterday showed that, yes, it is the first week of the season. Yes, it was only the third game. But to fall behind at home 7-2 against an EHT team that, got to admit, did not get off to the best of starts and is not off to the best of starts, to show their ability to come back, to realize that, it's a 7-inning game and that maybe we only need one big inning to do it, really I think will boost their confidence and give them a little bit more maybe bounce in their step, when they take the field this afternoon against Toms River North. So, yeah, I think, if you can have a big win in the first week of the season, that's a big win for them. And, sitting at 7 with a 7-2 lead with EHT, I think it was the fourth inning, they went up 7-2. That held all the makings for a big win for EHT, a win that they kind of needed. And, St. Augustine showed its ability to come back and to play a 7-inning game and show what they can do up and down the lineup.
Kev, one team that I really like, I'm not sure if I'm totally sold yet on the all-black uniforms with the pinstripes, but Bishop Eustace, man, that's a really good team, and they got that old-timey coach up there, and they play some great baseball. They've been off to a really good start. What's your impression of the Crusaders? Yeah,
I'm on my way. Actually, right now I'm going to check out the Crusaders. They're going to play Kings Christian in the first round of the Ralph Shaw Classic at Audubon, and the black unis with the white pinstripes will be out again today. And it took me by surprise when I saw it. It kind of looked like it looked like pajamas, in all honesty, or maybe they belonged in the county jail somewhere. But
everybody's going with that Vanderbilt look.
They like the Vanderbilt look, and you know what? If that's what they want to do, that's great. And they're a team that can back up that kind of attitude. They their lineup 1 to 9 can hit the ball. They put the ball in play. They can play situational baseball. They can play. If they need a power, they need hit the ball to the gaps. They can do that, and they've got arms. And like I've told a lot of people too, a non-public school, in my opinion, should have the arms. A non-public school should have the talent 1 through 9, because let's face facts. They can go out and get the kids that they want to come to their school to play for their program. So in that respect, they should be good. But if you look at it on the grand scheme, in the big picture, and the fact, all the teams that they have to play, and they'll play a decent schedule, they are very, very good. And I was impressed with them in the season opener against Eastern. They can run, an Eastern team that's traditionally a Group 4 power, and they've just got some dynamite players. You look at their lineup: Chase Conklin in the 2-hole, Matty Orlando in the 3-hole, Mike Gazzardo, and Johnny Piacentino. There's 4 Division I talented players that is as good a 2 through 5 as anybody in the state, in my opinion. So I think Bishop Eustace is a team that, this could be a very special season for them. I think in about the Henkel tournament that they'll host, I believe, is in 2 weeks, maybe 3. St. Augustine will be there. So hopefully those two teams will match up, and, we'll really get a look at who we kind of think right now are the top 2 teams in the state. South Jersey.
We're talking with Kevin Minnick of NJ Advanced Media. Check out all his stuff on NJ.com. And Kevin, 2 guys that I really enjoyed watching last year and kind of had a little bit of envy as I wish I was that good in high school is Matt Orlando and the Rossi kid from Washington Township. I mean, that kid's a really good shortstop. I love the way these guys play infield, the way they swing the bats. Definitely 2 guys to keep your eye on this year.
Yeah, Matty Orlando is going to go to Maryland. A 4-year starter for Eustis, and really a solid kid and baseball player. He can pitch. He plays the infield. He'll play at second. He'll play at short. And he's off to a really nice start and has been a staple in that lineup for them for the last, like I said, 4 years. And you look at Greg Rossi, you mentioned him, he's going to move around a little bit this year. He played in the outfield in their game earlier this week that I was at against Shawnee. So we may not see him at short as much, but another talented kid, a junior who's swings a pretty decent bat. The Minutemen are not off to a great start. They've lost, I believe, 3 in a row now, but I think that's another team that will hopefully turn things around and
Hello? You there?
I'm with you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying, I think Washington Township will turn things around a little bit and play some better baseball in the next couple of weeks.
Kev, one guy you might want to keep your eye on is Alex Sakis from Holy Spirit. I mean, this kid, he was a very good pitcher last year, but he's added some speed to his fastball, really has that mound presence now of a number one starter, an ace in South Jersey. I'm looking for big things out of this kid, and they could be a surprise team that, who knows, in a couple weeks maybe they're challenging for the Diamond Classic. They're off to a great start, 3-0 so far. They got some pretty good bats in the middle lineup, but as far as pitching goes, this kid, I just love the way he attacks the zone, keeps the ball down, works with 3 pitches. Not a lot of guys with that kind of command of 2 or 3 different pitches.
Yeah, I haven't had an opportunity to see him pitch, but I've heard good things, and I believe he's already committed to. I'm not sure whether he's the St. John's commit or a Ryder commit for them. But
he's Ryder.
Ryder, yeah, but. I think Holy Spirit is a team to keep an eye on. Obviously, you talk with Mike, they're off to a nice start, and they're going to challenge in that United division. I think, playing in B, non-public B, that they're a team definitely to keep an eye on. And, it can't help but to get off to a great start, will help with the confidence of that team as they move forward. And, Jason Downey does a nice job with them, and I think, like you said, I think they're a team to keep an eye on. And Alex, there's teams throughout South Jersey, and it seems like every team has 1 or 2 really strong, decent pitchers. And I think they're going to be fans are going to have an opportunity to see a lot of really nice arms, and obviously he's one of them.
Talking with Kevin Minnick of NJ Advanced Media. And, Kev, tell us about some of the teams out in the Deptford and Cherry Hill area. Obviously, those teams are always very good when you're talking about, like, Shawnee, Cherokee, Seneca, West Deptford. So a lot of good baseball out that way. That the Cape Atlantic League may have a little bit of crossover here in some of these weekend tournaments, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think, a couple of teams to keep an eye on. I think, Shawnee comes into the season, they played in the South Jersey Group 4 final last year, and I kind of think a lot of people might have forgot that. They've got a really strong nucleus back, and I think that they're a team that, I don't know if people are overlooking them so far, but they're a very talented team. They're off to a strong start, and you talk about the team, the teams of Cherry Hill, East and West are both off to really nice starts. West is a team that reached the South Jersey Group 3 final. They have a lot of kids back. They put a hurting on Washington Township the other day. I think they put 22 runs on the board. So, they're a very, very good team that's going to compete in the Olympic National and give Bishop Eustace a run for for its money. And on the other side of town, Cherry Hill East is off to I believe they're 3-0 now. And, you got to go back 8 to 10 years to see when they won their first 2 or 3 games against a South Jersey team. They got a new coach. Coach Speller's in now, replaces Eric Radville. They got some talented kids there that, maybe have been overlooked a little bit. They play in the Olympic American, and they've had talented teams, but just haven't put together the type of victories that they needed to do to stay at that upper half of that division. So, yeah, I think East and West are very talented teams. Keep an eye on Shawnee, and if you move up a little further north, Delran's off to a real nice start under Jim Goodwin in his first year after replacing Rich Bender after 43 years. So I think, like we've talked about before, there's some very, very talented baseball teams in South Jersey.
Kev, real quick before we let you go, give me an early sleeper. Would Highland fit into that category?
Yeah. Highland's off to a nice start. I believe they're 3-0 as well, and they're a team that's going to compete in Group 3, and they've got a kid in Dylan Maria headed to LaSalle, who's a very, very good outfielder and a solid hitter for them. So, yeah, if you haven't really took a big dive into seeing what Highland's all about right yet, I'm sure we'll do that soon. But, yeah, I mean, if you want to call Highland a sleeper right now, I think after the first 3 games, they may not think that they're a sleeper team. They, like Spirit doesn't think they're spoilers, but yeah, I have no problem with right now saying Highland might be a little bit of a sleeper.
Good stuff, Kev. I'm sure we'll get a little bit more clearer view here in the next couple of weeks. So we'll check up with you next Saturday and see how the week 2 goes.
Absolutely. Once we get all these teams get some games under their belt, we'll really have a better idea of what's going on.
Sounds good, Kev. Appreciate the info and appreciate the time you take every Saturday morning to fill our audience in on the high school sports scene. We appreciate it, bud.
No problem. Thanks again.